The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is a Friday in the rib as after an exciting week. So.
Oh, I don't know how exciting it is, but.
Well, I mean, on the national front, there's a lot of news. So.
Oh yeah, and also locally, there is some news. Let's start out with the COVID report.
Always.
Start out with the COVID report. Okay. I'm trying to bring it up. I hate doing it this way. Here we go. There are 1,233 positive cases in Fall River with an increase of 17. They also had 2 additional deaths, bringing the total to 35. And the mayor posted a chart which he was trying to say, look at how low we are in the numbers. And according to the chart, Fall River has this chart is obviously before the mayor's announcement, but it has 1,218 positive cases. People tested 8,741 with a 13.9% percentage of positive tests. You'll notice that says percentage of positive tests. And the reason why I say that is he's trying to make it look like we're doing better than other cities and towns, and we're lower. In Bristol County alone, we are the lowest percentage, but we're also the second lowest in testing. Attleboro is lower in testing than we are, and Attleboro has a higher count. But it's the same thing with the cities by population. I mean, Boston has 56,000 with 23%. Brockton has 13,555 tests with 29%. And then it's us. Well, there are others, but I mean, it basically comes down to that. What's our favorite phrase about figures?
Yeah, figures don't lie, but liars can figure.
Exactly. And I think that's where we are right now with this chart. Well, not so much the chart. I think with what the mayor is trying to present. The problem is that our numbers are going to remain lower than other cities and towns as long as our testing remains lower than other cities and towns. And even with new testing sites open, I mean, Star just got all that money to open up another testing site. Our numbers aren't going up. People aren't using it. So that's wasted money. Absolute wasted money. And you know, I have a serious problem with that type of situation.
You're right, CJ. Because look, all this thing, this is all baloney. Because these figures are totally, they're myopic. They only take a little tiny snapshot, and they can't. None of these figures will ever be accurate unless we tested everybody in the United States. Not only tested them for COVID, but test them for antibodies to see if they had it previously. Because if they test negative, they may have had it previously. You got to test them for antibodies. So all these figures are just feel good. So the politicians can pretend they're doing something besides sticking people in the nursing homes and killing them. You know, and then Cuomo's making excuses and you're blaming everybody else. But that was something that you shouldn't do. But the reality is, all these figures are all—it's like the rolling parade. It's just for optics. It's about politics. It's about perception. It's not about reality. Because none of these figures is, and I don't have to tell you, because obviously you've actually taken courses in this thing and stuff. You know that anybody that knows anything about figures is the figures aren't accurate unless you have all the figures. It's like Mary Sahadi's numbers. She only puts in the numbers that she wants.
Right.
And you know, she leaves out stuff that she wants and adds things that so nobody knows. It's like city numbers. And you're right. This is all baloney. Well, if we can get confirmed cases, fine. But when we begin to work percentages, it's ludicrous. I mean, that's all about politics, not about information. I'm sorry, because years ago there was accuracy in reporting. That part of reporting is long gone.
Right. I understand where you're coming from, but again, people need to understand that the numbers aren't always what they appear to be, and people need to realize it. I even had a user on Facebook turn around and say, "I've just disproven your whole theory because 1% is 1 of 100, and 0.1% is 1 of 1,000. So that disproves your theory." How that disproves my theory, I'm still trying to figure out. But it was interesting to hear him say that.
You want to apply pure mathematics. Those are percentages, and those percentages correlate to that. But obviously, these numbers aren't accurate.
Right.
Number one, the entire, like I said, you don't know how many people in Fall River have had or have COVID-19.
Correct.
That's tested every single person in the city of Fall River.
Right, and those tests are only for active COVID-19.
That's right.
They're not for people who've already had it and have overcome it, because that would require what we call immunoglobulin tests, IG tests, and nobody wants to do those unless you're part of those studies where they're trying to use the plasma to help people overcome the disease. So it makes it very interesting when you see that.
And look, all these figures are baloney. We know that because, as I said, even when they're testing people for COVID-19, they haven't tested anywhere near everybody in Fall River. So, look, the only time anybody can say your math is off is if you have 100% of the numbers, because number one, an incomplete equation can't be solved.
Right.
It's an incomplete equation because we don't have all the numbers in the equation. So we've got tens of thousands of people in the city of Fall River that haven't been tested. So all these numbers are bullshit. So let's just look at it the way it is. It's politics. They can put in numbers and graphs and pie charts, and then you get the little wimps like Boston's already called off the marathon. The hell with people. Nice to live in the Nazi Massachusetts, because the blue states all think that they have the right to control our lives. So with now in September, we don't know what September's going to bring. Even Fauci said they're not sure if there's going to be a resurgence. Nobody knows. And not only that, hey, the problem is we know the people that are dying for the most part. It's the elderly. And, I don't think there are many 80-year-olds with all kinds of pre-existing conditions running in a Boston Marathon.
Correct.
So why didn't we just keep it as a tentative date? But no, it's not even June. He's already postponed the marathon in September, because remember, all these politicians know better than we do on how to live our lives.
Not only that, they canceled it. They canceled the Boston Marathon for the first time since its inception. So they even canceled the September delay time. So it's over. So you're not going to have another Boston Marathon until Patriots Day 2021. Maybe. Exactly. Maybe.
And the only, because politicians know the right thing to do for everybody, and they know that the right thing to do is keep us under house arrest and tax us. Go out and throw all kinds of money at everything, and then say, well, the only thing we got to do now is our only alternative is we're going to have to raise taxes, as Mike Roderick said. Mike Roderick going to give up his stipend for being a chairman of the Ways and Means? Mike Roderick going to give up the stipend he gets for travel? Mike Roderick going to give up his salary? No, they're not going to give up crap. Our legislators aren't going to give up a damn dime, but they're going to tax you and me. Some people that haven't had a job, they're going to give you money, and they're going to
right.
This is government. We get surcharged for breathing, and this really upsets me because this is ridiculous. And these politicians, they're and then you got to watch them every single day, because this morning my morning started looking at that pin-headed mayor of Boston canceling the Boston Marathon. So out of the gate, ruined my day.
Yeah. Well, the city finally offloaded the police station. The bid that they were expecting was over $81,000. The bid they got was $10,000, and the city accepted that bid because he was the only bidder. The company's name is Weatherford's LLC. They're based out of Chelsea, Massachusetts, and their, I guess, principals are Mark Lederman and Sarah Lederman. And what's interesting is, when I did an OCPF lookup, neither of them have given to any political candidates under the name Sarah, S-A-R-R-A, but under the name S-A-R-A-H under Lederman, but out of New York, not out of Chelsea. That was given. But nothing was given to our mayor from the Ledermans at all that we can find out or that we can see. So that was interesting to find right there. So obviously this wasn't an inside job or anything.
Well, I don't know if we can roll that out ever, but because that might be a relative in New York. but see, the thing that disturbs me is, look, this is Fall River. Remember the bid on the King Philip Mills?
Yep.
We needed a minimum bid, and then they give it away for dirt cheap. Look, I'm sorry. That building for $10,000. I mean, this is ridiculous. No, you're not going to tell me there's not something going on. I'm a conspiracy theorist by nature. I always, I'm a pragmatist. These politicians don't dump a building for $10,000. You can scrap the metal, pull the wiring out of the building and strip it and scrap it for $10,000. That's a big building. Don't give me that crap. The city could have demolished that building and sold the used brick.
Well, according to Weatherford's, what they plan on doing is they plan on cleaning up the site, keeping the exterior and the facade, the shell and the facade of the historic building intact, and they're going to make apartments inside. But because of the lack of off-street parking, because of the intense contamination, they only bid $10,000. That's their excuse for it. Okay, I'll buy it. But if they're going to make apartments out of that, where are people going to park? You can't park on Bedford Street. You can't. I mean, there's meters there.
Isn't there a provision about having a number of parking lots per unit?
Yeah, they're supposed to have 2 parking spaces per unit. But when has Fall River ever held to their own ordinances?
Yeah, and they're going to make apartments. Yeah, we need a lot of apartments. Look how our population is skyrocketing. Absolutely skyrocketing. I mean, what have we had? 25,000, 30,000 people come to Fall River? Last time I checked, we've been hovering in the 80,000s. We used to have over 100,000. And if they took out the junkies and the people who came here for housing, welfare housing, our population would be about 60,000.
Right.
So, this is absolute crap. What do we need apartments for? People aren't coming to Fall River to take, to fill these apartments.
Well, they're expecting that when the train comes into town, that people are going to need apartments because more people are going to want to move here from Boston and.
Oh God! Please! Oh Jesus! Please! Oh God! Yeah, people want to move to the city that has the highest crime rate, which was picked the most dangerous city in the state of Massachusetts, the second most dangerous in New England, and has a deficit, has begun to tax like Newton, and you can live in the burbs cheaper than you can live in Fall River, and you can walk down Needle Park, walk up and down the streets, and you can look at the junkies. That's what you do And yeah, oh yeah, this is a mecca. This is a mecca. Yep, they're gonna stop right in Fall River. Everybody's gonna run down and take that train. I'll tell you what, all you Pollyannish, cockeyed optimists want to bet I got some money, and we'll do it, and we'll do it in public. I'll bet you. I don't have to bet a lot, just bet a little bit. I'll take all your bets. And then we'll check how many people are leaving on that train from Fall River, how many coming back.
True.
That train is going to look like the Midnight Express. There's going to be nobody coming to Fall River from out of town because they're sure as hell not coming for jobs. They're sure as hell not coming for jobs to Fall River because they're on them. They're not coming for the great arts because we don't have it. They're not coming for the scenic view unless they're going to come down and look at the new fireboat or something that's going to hose down if we have any problems on a waterfront, which we don't have, the ghost waterfront that we have. So we bought a boat in anticipation of something that I will bet, and I know that a couple of city councils went for a ride on that boat. And there's another bet I'll put. I will bet you that waterfront will not be built up and be a viable waterfront before they bury you.
I'm not going to take that bet because I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going to be.
Well, again, they love to waste money. But, it's crazy. This whole thing is nuts. And it's just a scam. It's social conditioning to let them take away rights. It's amazing how most people will give up all their rights once they have to feel a little discomfort. That's unfortunate. During the Great Depression, people were used to dealing with discomfort, and it made them a lot tougher. But this society, we can't. But I gotta shift over because I can't not talk about this. The thing in one of your former stomping grounds, Minnesota.
Yes.
That fiasco that's been on television is just look. There's a great indication of what's wrong with this country and the political correctness. Look, I am not, and we don't know everything. We don't know the whole story. And I know the FBI I was watching the FBI in the state of Minnesota's crime bureau talking about the investigation they're doing. And we've heard all the reports. We've heard the reports that the individual who killed Mr. Floyd had a long record of brutality complaints. So the question is begged: why was he still on the job? And there were a lot of questions. And obviously, it appears, but you can't make assumptions. But it appears that was a absolutely inexcusable incident, and they should be held accountable. And I don't think anybody with a modicum of intelligence could say that he can just say it was justified. It bears investigation, and it bears a thorough investigation, and it's getting it. But okay, we all agree on that. But then there was only one media outlet I saw that actually objected to the other things that were happening. That these people are rioting, burning down Targets. They had pictures of them walking up and down the aisles with shopping carts, looting. Do you really believe that is productive? Look, I don't care if they had 10,000 people or 100,000 people marching up the street in protest of what happened. They're right, and I think they should. But the people who are robbing people and destroying their businesses need to be called out and vilified. Do you remember? I guess a lot of these people don't because the millennials weren't born. I remember during hurricanes in the old days, they activated the National Guard, and if you were caught looting, you were shot. The orders for the National Guard were to shoot looters on sight. But what do today? We ignore the looting. There's not one major media except Fox, the 5, that Gutfield talked about it. reprehensible. These people are using that to rob people. They destroyed somebody's jewelry store. Guy's out of business now, lost all his jewelry, burnt the police station to the ground, burnt the Target to the ground. Yeah, this is. Don't give me the outrage crap. They don't give a damn about Mr. Floyd. Because if they were, they'd be standing in front of the, they'd be standing in the street protesting his death, not robbing everything they can put in a basket. They're thugs. And now I heard the latest one is they're upset because I guess Trump called them thugs. And he called, he called them what they are, criminals.
Yeah, no question. No question about it. Well, the Fall River trying to bail itself out of a budget crisis may get worse. The Massachusetts Lottery Commission met, and guess what? The director of the Massachusetts Lottery Commission says the Massachusetts Lottery is at risk of becoming obsolete. And where does our money come from? Our undesignated aid, or what they call UG money, it used to be called lottery money for local aid, comes from the lottery. And accordingly, the lottery is down. What is this? Last year's records was $1.9 billion, and billion with a B, in profit, which the state distributed in local aid to cities and towns. Through the first 10 minutes of fiscal 2020, Sweeney said the agency's profit is $94.7 million, lower than during the same stretch last year. The lost revenue to the lottery is permanently lost revenue, said Comptroller William McNamara, a member of the Lottery Commission. Someone who, because of this shutdown, they can delay a refrigerator purchase they might make. They might push out clothing purchases. But thinking about consumer behavior, when a lottery sale is lost, it doesn't come back. You don't get to make it up in August. So now they're talking about taking the lottery and doing like Rhode Island and New Hampshire have done, and moving the lottery from sales agents to cell phones, online betting. Why not? Everything else is done online, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm obviously they are looking for a quick political figure. I don't think that's going to work, frankly, because number one, we get a disproportionate amount. We get far less proportionally. You want to talk about numbers and ratios and statistics. We get screwed on the lottery. Places like Fall River and New Bedford and all the poor communities get screwed on the lottery. We have the highest percentage of playing of any area, but the Newtons and Wellesley's get the disproportionate increase because those rich people up there are not trying to hit the lottery so they can finally, own something of worth, because they're barely scratching a living out. The people that have got the scratch tickets are buying cigarettes and scratch tickets every week, hoping they're going to hit something on the lottery. I'm sure that the lottery's proceeds in Fall River are not suffering as much. I've noticed that, I don't know whether it's rigged or not, they're not paying off as much, because I used to hit occasionally. I never hit much on the lottery, but I normally buy a couple lottery tickets every time I gas up. I'm at the gas station, they sell lottery tickets, so I'll grab a couple tickets, a couple scratch tickets, and once in a while when a jackpot's big enough, I'll get a Megabucks or a Powerball ticket. Big deal. I mean, I'd rather be on a crap table, but it's there. And I use it, but I don't buy them every week. But you see people that go every single day to the local store. Having it on their phone isn't going to increase it. And the people in Newton and Wellesley who don't really play the lottery, because frankly they don't need the money and they're not playing it. And if they're going to spend their money, they'll go to a casino.
One of the problems
is that I don't think this is going to work. And I think that, look, it's down. And I frankly disagree with this theory that you can't make it up, because the people who do play the lottery, they may not have money right now because of the shutdown. But when they get more money, they will play the lottery, because those people are addicted to the lottery. They're trying to be the millionaire. They're trying to hit the big jackpot.
Yeah. See, my problem with moving it to the online scenario is the fact that those people that are quote unquote addicted to lottery, we're just making it easier for them to play. They don't need to, they won't have to worry about their cash in their pocket, because what's going to happen is they'll be able to use their debit cards to make payments to buy more lottery tickets and more bets. So I think that may come into a gambling issue with a gambling addiction. Will it make up what they're talking about they're talking about millions of dollars. I don't know if it'll make up millions of dollars in lost sales, but I mean, you got to give them credit. They're looking for somewhere, because remember, the only thing that's going to happen with this reduction in money is Fall River is not going to get as much undesignated local aid, which means we're going to be stuck, because we depend on that money to do everything, to fix our streets, to meet our budgetary needs. We depend on it. Newton gets more money than we do under that program. They don't spend as much on lottery tickets. They don't need that money, but they get it. So who's going to turn down free money? I know I wouldn't. It would make for an interesting study on.
If you brought up an interesting point, CJ, as you said, places like Newton and got a far greater percentage based on play versus money given. And has our local delegation ever complained about that disproportionate? No, because the Lottery Commission is the second biggest dumping ground for patronage jobs for state officials.
Right.
MDTA is number one, and number two is the Lottery Commission.
Right.
So the thing is, does our state delegation ever said, hey, Fall River should get a higher percentage of the lottery? Your lottery should be based on play. The proceeds you got from play. So if Fall River's playing a lot more, twice as much as Newton should not be getting as much, if not more than us. We should be getting more than Newton. It should be, okay, you guys play more, you get a bigger cut of the pie.
Exactly.
It's just like if you make a $5 bet, you don't make as much as a guy that made a $500 bet. That's the way it is.
That's the way the game works.
And that's the way it works, but not when politicians get their fingers in it. This is a way to give the nice rich towns a little cut. And normally it's the rich towns that control the legislature anyway. So I don't think we've ever had a speaker. We've never had a speaker of the House from Fall River. I mean, I think the highest we ever got in Fall River was under Kaverian when Bob Correa was the whip.
Yeah.
I think that's the highest position anybody from Fall River ever ascended to.
Yeah, that's in the House. But Mike Rodriguez is pretty high up in the Senate, because he's the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. So everyone's got to go to him for money. Everyone.
Yeah,
so
well, the Senate's a little different, because the Senate is far smaller than the House, obviously. And in the Senate, most of those things are done by seniority. So he's been there for a long, long time. So he's going to, ultimately you're going to see him maybe he could potentially be the president of the Senate. Who knows?
True. Well, our time is up, but I want to leave you with one quote, people. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserves neither liberty nor safety. Benjamin Franklin. You need to hear that. Thanks for watching, people. Stay safe, stay angry, and we'll see you on Monday.